Just kidding. Hi guys, welcome back to Graceful Beauty. My name is Sherry and today I wanted to share with you something a little bit different. I wanted to share with you how I used to do my makeup compared to how I do my makeup now as a mature woman. I know there's a bunch of videos like this out there already on YouTube, but I thought I would just do something kind of fun today and mix it up a little bit instead of just putting on my makeup in the same way I always do. I wanted to share some tips and tricks and some things that I am really guilty of, but maybe these are some things that you guys might feel like you're guilty of also. These are things that make us look a little bit older than we want to be. If you're not subscribed to my channel but you would like to be, don't forget to look down below and tap on that subscribe button. And if you do like this video, I hope you'll also give it a thumbs up. So some of these things that I'm going to share with you today, I probably will still continue to do them, even though I know they're probably wrong, but because that's what I like and that's what makes me look happy. And that's really all that matters. Honestly, are there really rules in makeup? You know, just put your makeup on however you want, except for the very first step that I'm going to share. So the very first step in your makeup application is also your very last step in your skincare routine, and it should be done every single day of the year, rain or shine, even if you're indoors, outdoors, it doesn't matter, but that's applying a sunscreen. This video is not going to be about specific brands, it's just the product in general. So you can use whatever sunscreen you want. The problem with sunscreen that I think a lot of us are doing that could be aging us, I see a lot of people go like this. And this little amount right here is literally all they apply to their whole face. And then, you know, they'll rub it on and put little dots and then they'll say how
it blends so much you only need a small amount because a little goes a long way.
I already have a load of sunscreen on, by the way, so I'm not gonna put a whole another amount on. If you want to know how much sunscreen I normally use, watch my very last video. I'll link it down below, and I demonstrate a really quick morning skincare routine, how much sunscreen I apply, and then I also do kind of like a natural everyday makeup look. Don't get tricked by seeing that the sunscreen says SPF 50 or SPF 100, or, you know, I think that you should use at least an SPF 30, but that little small amount that I just used on this SPF 50 sunscreen, I probably dropped it down to like an SPF 5. I mean, I have no protection if that's all I use is a little pea size on my whole face. The second thing that I think many of us might be doing incorrectly or just making us look a little bit older than we are is, number one, using the wrong shade of foundation, but not just using the wrong shade, using too heavy of a coverage, especially like when I have blemishes here. When you have more mature skin and you're getting wrinkles and fine lines and you have large pores or hyperpigmentation like what I have, piling on a cake face of foundation actually doesn't make you look younger, and it doesn't hide those imperfections or, you know, or make me feel better. I'm guilty of this because when I started getting this melasma about 10-15 years ago, I thought, oh, okay, I have melasma and my face is breaking out. I better add 3 more layers of foundation to cover it up. And honestly, it looked terrible, but I never realized that. Some people would say, why do you have so much makeup on? But I thought, well, at least they don't see my hyperpigmentation. So this will be the side of the face that I'm gonna put my makeup on incorrectly, or, you know, like I said, I still do some of these things now, but this will be the side of the face that, now I'm not saying this side is like perfect and a makeup artist would approve. I'm just saying for me, that's what I personally feel makes me not look older than I really am if I do my makeup the way I'm gonna do on this side of my face. It's summertime, so I feel like I should use a darker foundation, so I'll use the shade Tan on this side of my face. And a lot of times too, I don't think it's so much the brand or the product that we need to be looking for. So if you have a foundation, maybe you don't even need to go buy the foundation that you see me using or that you see another YouTuber using. Maybe you just need to use less of your foundation to make it look more natural and still cover the flaws that you don't want others to see. Okay, so I'm just adding a little extra here, like what I used to do, because I really want to cover up, and I got to cover my neck too. I want to cover these blemishes. I mean, you can see how dark this foundation is, and sure, I could blend it all the way down, but this is just not the right shade for me. So I feel like I've got most of my hyperpigmentation hidden, but I still can see these blemishes, so I'm going to also spot conceal over top of these blemishes and make sure that redness is completely not showing. Pretty cakey. On this side of my face, I am just going to do a natural layer. I still have, you know, a lot of this hyperpigmentation and acne scar that's healing here, and these are spots that I do want to cover, but I'm not going to pile on the foundation. So I have the shade medium and then I have the shade medium tan, but you don't have to go out and buy all different shades of foundation. If you want to just stick with medium or whatever shade you are in that range, and then just buy some color correcting, these are shade adjusters. These are by Physicians Formula, and you can adjust the shade of your foundation. So if this is too dark, I add a little bit of the white. If it's too light, I can add a little bit of the dark. That's medium. And then this is medium tan. So I'm probably just going to mix the two of these and get the perfect color. First, I want to blend what we have here, because this might be enough for almost my whole face. Now on this side I'm just blending it. On this side I'm not putting the foundation all the way up underneath my eye, because then when I put on my concealer it's going to start getting a little bit cakey. But on this side I did put the foundation all the way up underneath my eye. So now I have my layers of foundation and then my layers of concealer. So a lot of times it's not your concealer that's making you have creasy under eyes. It's because you're putting on maybe too much. And again, this is something that I have been guilty of for years. So this is the dark cakey side, and this is the color that matches my skin tone the best right now. I'm not going to put a second layer of foundation on. I'm going to just spot conceal any areas that need a little bit more coverage versus piling it all over my face. Now I want to put a little concealer underneath my eyes. This is one by L'Oreal. I do really like this, but I'm really loving the Candid concealer by Revlon, but I'm trying to use this one up. So on this side, I'm going to put the concealer on the way I used to. And then let's just blend that out. And then I just like to add a little bit extra underneath this line here. And then just kind of blend it in. And then on this side, since I am getting older and I already have wrinkles and fine lines underneath my eyes, I have this hollowed out area, which, you know, a lot of people get filler to fix this, but I'm just too chicken for that. So I want to put a little makeup there to help to disguise it a little bit. So now I just kind of put a few little drops, but I don't bring it all the way up underneath my eyes. I put them right underneath where that hollowed out area or where the eye bag is. And then same thing, I just kind of blend it out. And it eventually works its way up anyways, because there's still some on my blending sponge. And then I might apply a little bit more, especially in this dark hollow here, and then just a couple little drops underneath. And then I'll just use my finger and then just kind of lightly blend it. So now I'm just gonna set my face with some powder, and since I used to watch a lot of the younger gals on YouTube, I thought this was the right way for a 46-year-old woman to set her face with powder. Get a little more to make sure we really set it all under the eyes really good, because we don't want our concealer to crease on this side. And then I just kind of lightly press it on everywhere else just to set that foundation. I never really let this sit and bake like a lot of people did. I just would kind of brush it off right afterwards. But still, regardless, I still have a thick cakey layer of face powder on, which is going to settle in my pores, and it's going to eventually just kind of make my face look dry and wrinkled out versus natural and dewy looking. So now I do want to set this side to take down some of the glow, and usually I do that at the very end with some different products. I'm going to tap off any of this excess, and then I'm just going to lightly dust this on my face. One thing I want to do before I ever lightly powder underneath my eyes, I always look in a zoom in mirror and I take my finger, and I might have just accidentally gotten some powder there, but I like to take my finger and kind of make sure that concealer that I just put on is already pressed in, because if I don't, then I'm just going to be setting the wrinkled area already. So I want to make sure it's not all wrinkled. And then I just kind of lightly powder everything. So next I'm just going to go ahead and do my blush and highlight, and then I'll do my eyes afterwards. So I'm going to use this pretty palette. Now again, you can use any blush, any eyeshadow, but this is one that I love, and I think right now it's on like half off sale at Skin Store. I'll link it down below. I paid full price for it. But this is by Sigma. It has a little mirror inside, but then it also has 4 eyeshadows, a blush, and a highlighter. And I absolutely love this palette. So as we're aging, we want everything to look lifted, not to look down, not to go down. Now, blush is one thing that I know I always wear it incorrectly because I wear a lot of blush, and the way I like to wear it, I don't know if it's right or not, but I think it looks pretty the way I like to wear it. But the way I used to wear it, I would always put the blush too far down on my cheek. Now, I'm not going to do contour or anything like that today, because you know, a lot of people don't even use a bronzer or contour, and I never used to until maybe a couple years ago. But this is where I used to put my blush. I kind of put it right here, or I see a lot of people doing it, you know, like this, or I see a lot of people kind of just putting it right here on the apple of their cheek, and then, you know, they like to brush it down and then blend it that way. So now I do try to do it on the apples of my cheek, but I try to keep everything lifted and blended. So I'll just put a little here, and then I just blend, you know, very, very lightly in little circles. And I feel like, because, you know, look at little kids, when they blush, when their cheeks are flushed, they don't get red down here, their cheeks are flushed up here. So they always look like that they have those big chubby cheeks that you want to pinch. Now I'm going to put on a little bit of this highlight. It's such a pretty highlight, you guys. I love it. But if you get too heavy-handed, I think it's aging. I think a highlighter, this is just my opinion, I think a highlighter, especially for daytime, should just look natural. Like highlight where the sun, you know, would make your face glow. Not so much look at your face and you see a thick white stripe. If that's the style that you're going for, again, totally do what makes you feel comfortable. But in my opinion, and even at any age, I just don't find that very attractive. So I used to do this when I thought this was the in thing to do, and just take the highlighter and put a nice white streak of it here, you know, to really highlight that side of the face. I'm going to use the same little brush, but I've just kind of tapped off the excess. And then usually what I'll do with my highlighter is I just very light-handed put a smidge of it on to just highlight the top of my cheekbone. This way you don't see like a streak anywhere, it's just like a beautiful glow. One that I love, I've talked about this in many videos, if you're just looking for that natural glow but you do want it to look, you know, like the sun is hitting your cheeks and you have that beautiful highlight, this one by Essence, it's called Be My Highlight. I think they have 3 different colors, but I think this one is so pretty. It's such a natural looking highlight, and it's perfect for mature women. It's great for younger women also, but my channel is about mature skin, and so that's what this is about. Alright, next I'm going to do my eyes, so I'm just going to prime my eyes real quick with my Milani eye primer. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, you know I have hooded eyes. This is not something that I got from aging. I have had hooded eyes like this ever since I was born, but I never used to understand how to do my eyeshadow. So this will be the eye that I'll show you the proper way that I feel to do eyeshadow with hooded eyes is, and then this side I'm going to show you how I used to do my eyeshadow, because I didn't realize that there was a special way that if you have this kind of droopy looking upper eyelid that kind of, you know, mine aren't terrible, but they're hooded, and it makes your eyes kind of look downturned. So if you have this little extra skin that's kind of pulling down on your eyes, then maybe this side is how you might want to do your eyeshadow. So I'm just going to use this shade all over the lid here. I might put a little bit of this on the eyelid and under the brow bone, and then I will use this shade right here in the outer V. And then I'm going to use this really small brush. This is great if you have really small eyes or if you're trying to get into the crease. This is by Vasanti, I think. I got this in one of my like Ipsy beauty boxes. Now I'm just going to use this dark shade called Elderberry, and that's what I'm going to do to make my outer V. Oops, I almost started trying to do it the right way. I'll do it the way I used to do it. I'll make this nice little V on the side. And then I'd also blend it into my crease. Let's darken that V up some. Okay, then I'll just take this fluffy brush and blend it. Because I did at least, you know, blend everything. I didn't try to look crazy, I just used to put my eyeshadow on wrong. And I feel like I needed a little bit more of an outer V. Now I also didn't use this dark of eyeshadow, but I feel like if I use more light natural looking eyeshadow, you won't be able to see what I'm doing. And then I would blend, and I'd always blend it down, you know, I'd pull it down. So already you can tell it just kind of pulls the eye down. The other thing I would do is I would take this dark color on a brush, and I'd also use it as eyeliner underneath and then blend that. And just put this here. And you know, you see so many of the really pretty girls on YouTube, the younger gals, oops, I just messed up. You'd see a lot of the younger gals on YouTube, and they are able to bring it down this way, and then they blend it down, and it just looks so pretty the way they blend it. You know, it looks so nice and smoky, so that's what I would try to do. And then I would always just take a little bit of the lighter shade, and I'd put a little bit of that on the eyelid. Just blend that together. And now I'm just going to do this eye how I would normally do it with this palette. So I'm just going to do the same thing, put this pretty peachy shade all over the eyelid, and then just kind of bring it up just a smidge above where my crease is. So my crease is actually down here, but what I want to do is look straight into the mirror, which this is a camera, but I'll look straight into the mirror and see where I would want the crease to be, and then I'm going to make my own crease. Even though I do love this palette, since I have hooded eyes, I don't want to use that super dark shade and make a crease with that. So usually what I'll do, instead of just getting out a separate eyeshadow palette or something, I will just use my bronzer. So I'm just going to use this one by Maybelline. It's their City Bronzer, and this is, I think, the shade 200. And I'm going to use this, the bronzer, to make my crease. So I'm going to keep my eyes open and look straight in a mirror, and instead of putting it down here where the crease really is, I'm going to go above and kind of make my own crease. So right here. That's why this brush is so perfect for hooded eyes and small eyes like mine, because you can see I can get right in there where I'm trying to make that crease. And then once I make the crease, then I can kind of blend it out. So I'm not using a super dark shade to make the crease because I feel like the older I get, now I'm not saying you can't wear heavy dark eyeshadow. If that's what you like to do, go for it. I think it looks so pretty on so many people, but I am not that skilled to wear really dark eyeshadow, especially when I have hooded eyes, because then I end up just looking like I was punched in the eye. And then what I do, since I have hooded eyes, instead of making my triangle go this way, the outer V, like everyone does, I like to do it in the shape of a martini glass. So, or like a backward 7. So a martini glass, if I held a martini glass up to my eye, the sides of it would go this way, and then the top of it would go this way. Now I don't necessarily do a straight line, I just kind of go with the shape of my eye, but I always will find the edge of my eyebrow and I will do it at this angle so that this way my eyeshadow and everything looks lifted. And I try to always blend in upwards strokes. Now I am going to use this darker shade, the dark purple shade. I'm now going to kind of just follow along where I drew that martini glass and just lightly draw this and use this as my eyeliner. Actually, I will use a different brush because it makes it easier. So I like to use something like that's thin and tightly packed like this, and then I'll use this as an eyeliner. And I'm still going in that same shape of the martini glass. I'm just kind of keeping it super close to the lashes. Honestly, I'm just kind of filling in between the lashes and then just blending it a little bit. And then what I do, same thing, I'll take this light shade and put some of this on the eyelid. And then I'll take this fluffy brush and just kind of blend all that together. Now I'm going to put the eyeliner on this eye. I'm just going to use a black eyeliner, which, you know, I still use this every now and then. I do a real thin line normally, but I'm just going to show you how I used to do my eyeliner because that's how I saw everybody doing it. So I would just line my upper eyelid, and I would do a nice, you know, pretty thick line because that's what I see a lot of people do. And then I would also do a wing to go with that cat eye. Connect it there. So what I like to do on this eye, if I want to darken this up, instead of putting this black eyeliner on the upper part of my eyelid near my eyelashes, I like to do like a tight line and go up inside, and I'm not like stabbing my eye, but I like to line in between my eyelashes, basically where they're coming out of my eye. And then this way, it helps to make your lashes look a little bit thicker. But I'm not taking away from any of that precious eyelid space because that's what I need, since with hooded eyes, you usually don't have much eyelid space showing. So now this way, since I've tight lined, I do have a waterproof eyeliner on. You could use black or brown, but I try to keep it close to the same color that my eyelashes will be with mascara. And then this way it helps to deepen it up, give some definition, but it's not shrinking my eye. And I also still use eyeliner underneath my eye, but I just don't use it dark and I don't do it that thick. So what I like to do, I'll still take some of that deep purple color, just a smidge of it, and I will draw a super thin line, kind of just to connect where I did that light wing where I made the upper eyeliner. And I just only bring it, maybe just see how thick this is. It's almost like the length of my finger. I will only go from here to and stop right here just to kind of blend it. But I don't put the dark all the way under my eye because if I do, then it pulls my eye down, and of course that makes me just kind of look older. So what I do is I take any light color. I'll take the highlighter, maybe, that's what I'm going to use. I'll mix that peachy color with a little bit of the highlighter. What I like to do is kind of just blend that with the highlighter underneath my eye. So it still adds a smidge of color, but it's a super light shade. Because remember, if something's lighter, it makes it look bigger or opens it up. If it's dark, it makes it look smaller. And you know, maybe you have huge eyes and you do want to make them look smaller, but when you have hooded eyes and if your eyes are aging, a lot of times you're not trying to make them look smaller, you're trying to make them look bigger. So all I did, I just blended this peachy color with this highlighter right here. The way I used to do my brows, I used to do them really thin, and you can see that they're pretty arched anyways, but I think that when your brows are a little bit fuller, it's a little more youthful. But as far as brows, I will say I just suck with brows, period. So I'm just going to do this one the way I used to, and then I'll do this one the way I do now. And again, the way I do it now is probably not even the right way, but that's just, you know, the best I can do for now. I would also do my brows really dark before. You know, I would see all these YouTube videos where they would just draw these really dark brows and then put whiter, you know, light concealer around it so you could just see big brows, but I just don't feel like that looks very natural. And again, if that's what you like to do, go for it. Now this one is in the shade dark brown. I actually like to use more of a taupe on my eyebrows now. Even though I have dark hair, I feel like a taupe or a light brown looks better so that it just doesn't look like I have this big fake eyebrow. I'm just going to use this by Lancome. It's their Sourcils gel. This is in the shade taupe. And you don't have to buy one by Lancome. There's tons at the drugstore. But I've had this for probably 6 months. Somebody I think at Ulta said it was amazing, so I got it. And I do like it, but I've tried drugstore ones that I think are just as good. And now I'm just going to put on some mascara. I'm going to do the mascara the same way because I don't really know of any ways that we're doing mascara that makes us look older other than putting it on super, super thick. I don't use fake lashes because I've tried them before and it's just too much of a hassle for me. So I just use a lash growth serum. But what I like to do is mix these two mascaras. This is by Stila. This is their Huge mascara. And it really does give a lot of fullness, and it's got a really nice dark black color to it. And then I'll just go in with my favorite, my Maybelline Full and Soft, and I just kind of blend through. And this helps to just make them look real full and wispy. And don't mind if you get mascara on your lid. I do it constantly. I mean, you could put a little thing there to prevent it, but I don't. Just wait for it to completely dry, and then when it's dry, you can just take it off with like a little dry Q-tip. It'll come right off, but if you touch it when it's wet, you're gonna mess up your eyeshadow. So for my lower lashes, I could use those same mascaras on the lower lash line also, but I used to put it on super thick and full on the bottom the same way I would the top, but then I started feeling like maybe I'm looking a little bit like Tammy Faye Baker. So what I like to do is I'll just use one of the mascaras, not put multiple coats. I'll just do one very thin coat on the bottom lash, or the older we get, it's fine to use absolutely no mascara on the bottom lash line. So I'm just using this one by Milani. It's called Highly Rated. I actually really like this mascara. I like it on my top lashes too. I just forgot I had it. So I just do a super thin coat on the bottom, but on this eye I'm going to do it the same way I used to wear it. I'll go ahead and do this eye first while that side's drying a little. And now let's do our lips. Lips are my favorite thing to do with makeup, and I'm just gonna be honest, I still do my lips the wrong way. I know you're not supposed to put a dark lip liner on and a lighter lipstick, but that's what I like to do. I'm not as bad as I used to, but I used to put a really dark, like a dark burgundy or a dark brown lip liner on, and then I would do like that icy pink, almost white lipstick, and I just thought it looked so good. Like, I even would catch myself like when I'd look in the mirror going like, because I thought my lips looked so good. And since I couldn't find one of my icy pink lipsticks that I used to use all the time, I'll use this one by Bobbi Brown. It's called Mod. And I probably should have exfoliated my lips first. Fix this lip line some, because I always had to have the dark line showing. And then I'll just kind of blend it. I thought that looked so good. I normally don't wear this lipstick by itself anyways. I normally will put it just as a pop in the center, but for demonstration purposes, I want to show like maybe how I should wear it, even though I still don't do it completely correct. But this is also by Estee Lauder. This one's called Spice. It's a little bit lighter. And now I like to go just a smidge above where the lip line is. So then what I would do is I usually, since I don't have such a harsh lip line, what I'll do is I'll just kind of blend that liner. And then I'll put this on. And then what I'll do, oh, the sun is super bright. Sorry, let me close this, is I'll blend. Kind of blend it all together. Another thing you can do is you can actually put your lipstick on first and then lightly line afterwards, so it looks a little bit more natural that way. I also usually put on a little bit of a lip gloss. So when my makeup's finished, I always like to put a little pop of more of a brighter pink blush on. And usually I use my favorite one by Milani, but I don't see it anywhere. So I'm going to use this one that's almost identical. It's by MAC, but of course it's not as cheap as the one by Milani. This is one of their mineralized blushes. This one's in the shade Bubbles, Please. This one's so pretty. If you watch any of my videos, you know I just love a little pop of pink blush. So now what I do is I just put a smidge right here just to kind of lift it all. And then I would still put a pop of pink, but I always would put it right over where I had the other blush. Okay, so here you have the final look. This side I feel like, you know, it just looks hard. It looks aging. And then I feel like on this side, I still have a full face of makeup, but I just feel like everything looks a little more lifted. It looks a little more natural. Nothing is super harsh. And this is just the side that I prefer. But I don't know, you guys tell me. Some people prefer this side. I mean, I don't think this looks horrible. I just think it looks harsh and like I just have on too much cakey makeup. So what are your guys' thoughts? And of course, like I said, I still know I do some things incorrectly on this side of my face. And normally, like I said, I don't use this light of a lipstick. I like it to be a little bit darker. And I do still like to wear a darker lip liner, not this dark in comparison to the lipstick. But what are some tips and tricks that you guys have that you can leave down below that not only would just help me, like I hope you guys don't like slam me and tell me how wrong everything is, but hey, if you want to, that's fine too. I totally welcome constructive criticism. But what are some things, some tips and tricks that you guys have that won't just help me, but might help some other women in general? And again, this isn't necessarily because we want to look so much younger than our age. I'm fine with aging. I just want to age gracefully. I don't want to obsess about, oh my gosh, I got a new wrinkle here or there, because I've got wrinkles. I'm gonna have wrinkles and I'm okay with having wrinkles, but I don't want to accentuate my wrinkles and large pores or my acne. So I hope you will leave a comment. Plus, I absolutely love hearing from you guys. I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel if you're not already subscribed. And if you do like this video, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. And if you hated it, feel free to give it a thumbs down. Either way, I'm very appreciative that you took your time to watch my channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.